So people, Stantawn, Kendrick coming to you with a video. I was shedding recently. I've been going back to working on some Joe Henderson. I was using a play along and I said to myself, this is the perfect time to talk about play alongs. And I have a little bit of love-hate relationship with play alongs because play alongs are pretty much a crutch. You're depending on something basically to give you support. I find that the best way to practice, if you're learning standards, if you're learning a song or anything, is either practicing with a real band or practicing along with recordings. And when I say recordings, I mean recordings of the masters playing their own music, or professionals playing the masters music, or a singer singing, the song that you're trying to learn, versus going to like a music store and buying one of those cover books that has like all the songs written out. Why am I making this video, and what makes me aggravated with play alongs? I'm going to put a clip. I'm not sure if it's going to be at the beginning or the end, but I'm going to put a clip of me practicing Inner Urge. Inner Urge is Joe Henderson's tune. I know all of my jazz heads out there know, Joe Henderson is a bad mofo. It's a Joe Henderson tune. There's a lot of changes. And the best play along that I have is Jamie Aebersold's Joe Henderson play along. But I find myself frustrated. I'm frustrated because using a play along makes you kind of bend to the pre-recorded rhythm section's level. Now, when I say level, I don't mean their level as far as their musicianship, because Jamie Aebersold got great players to play these background tracks. But what I mean is, they're not gonna support what you are doing or what you're trying to do. The rhythm section is not gonna respond to you. And this is a level of professionalism that you wanna get to, where you can command the rhythm section. So how do you even start to do that? Well, the best thing to do is to play along with records. I can practice along with Joe Henderson. I'm practicing playing along with Joe Henderson in the way that he's constructing solo. I may listen and try to play back, or listen and try to do call and response where I can do it. It's a matter of trying to mimic what he's doing and mimic how he's pushing the rhythm section, and listening to the rhythm section, how they responded to him. So let me make it plain for you. Depending on a play along to teach you how to play, it's like learning how to swim from your mom. I know many of you may be like, what? That don't make no sense. It's like learning how to swim from your mom. So let's just say when you were younger, your mom or your dad, whoever, your older sister, they had you in the pool and you was learning how to swim. And you had on the life vest, you had on the little floating pillow arm things. And what did they do for you? They did this, and you laid across their arms, and you kicked and splashed in the water, right? But what's happening? They're holding you like this. You're kicking and splashing. You're not going forward. You're not going backwards. They're not letting you get too low. The water is not really responding to you, and you're not responding to the water. You're just kicking and splashing in the water, but you're not pulling through the water. You're not making the water kind of feel you going against it and going with it. That is like playing with a play along. Somebody's holding you, you're trying to learn how to swim, but you're not going forward and backwards, and you have these flotation devices on, so you can't sink or swim. Now, the other way is, let's say, theoretically speaking, you were learning how to swim from an Olympic swimming professional. And not only are you learning how to swim by them, but you're learning in real time, swimming along with them. So you're watching how they tear through the water, how their muscles move, how they pull themselves through the water, and how the water responds to them. You're watching their leg movement, how they kick and how they get through this water. And you at the same time are watching them, and you're doing it at the same time that they're doing it. That's learning by the record. Play along should only be as a reference, but not as a real, dependable tool, because you cannot practice on rhythm section development, call and response. You can't practice on melodic. You can try to practice on melodic ideas, but the programmed rhythm section is not going to respond to you. You can do all that you want all day long, but they're not going to respond to you. So if you continue to practice this way as a dependable way over and over and over again, you become deaf to a real rhythm section. So let's just say this is the way you practice all the time. Rhythm section, play along. When you get with a real rhythm section, The piano player is going to be comping behind you, and the bass is going to be going, and the drums is going to be going, and they're going to realize that you are completely unplugged from them. So instead of you guys being this force that's together, and they're throwing you things, and you're catching them, and you're throwing them things back, and they're catching them, and you're playing with, instead of all that, you're programmed already to hear just time with nothing else. You're oblivious to a pianist like giving you altered chords or playing with your rhythm or something like that. You're oblivious to it all because you practice so much without a real rhythm section or without listening to a record and hearing how the soloist is engaging the rhythm section and vice versa, that when you're playing with a real rhythm section yourself, they're going to be like,
man, this guy, he act like we ain't even here.
So, only thing I'm saying is, if you use play-alongs, remember that. It's okay to use them as a reference, but to depend on them solely, you're doing a disservice to yourself. And when you get in a real situation, a real rhythm section is going to let you know. But anyway, it's your boy Stantawn. Holla at you guys. Peace.
Thank you.